Introducing the next big thing in wrestling today, WrestleCrate.com, a monthly pro wrestling based subscription service starting as low as $14.99 a month, with items that include Mattel action figures, Funko Pop, pro wrestling tees, and signed memorabilia by the biggest names in the business today. For more information, on Twitter at WrestleCrates and our official website, www.WrestleCrate.com. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this is WWE Off The Script, episode number 83. This is part number 2, continuing on your weekend of Night of Champions 2015, man. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with me right here on the number one fucking source for everything WWE, and that's literally everything WWE, right here on YouTube.com. If you guys missed Off The Script yesterday, man, it was straight fucking biblical. You guys missed one hell of an episode. 42 minutes of a Night of Champions preview and predictions. I even went over Monday Night Raw, and my fucking frustrations came out in the video, man. Some of you actually said it was the best Off The Script episode ever. Ever. So I want to thank those of you who left a comment and a like, and you showed your support. If you missed the video, guys, I'm going to leave a little exclamation point in the video. If you're watching on your PCs or your iPhones or tablets, click the exclamation point. It'll take you right down to a drop-down menu. You can go find it through there, and I'm going to leave it in a link right down in the description of this video for part 2. So thank you guys so much for showing your continued love and support. Hopefully by the end of Night of Champions 2015, we will be at 32,000 subscribers strong and counting. It's going to be amazing, man. Can't wait for Night of Champions, and I can't wait to bring you guys my review and results following the pay-per-view. Before we get into the news on this Saturday morning, guys, very quickly, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow JD all over social media, especially this weekend on Twitter at JD from NY206. If you guys want to keep up to date on my videos, you're going to get instant notification through Twitter, and I'm going to be tweeting live during Night of Champions. So if you want to interact with me there, it is the absolute best place to do that, man, at JD from NY206. And if you guys did not hear, man, the guys over at WrestleRumble.com, they are holding another pick'em for Night of Champions 2015. Now, I usually do this every couple of months, and I'm surprised they're doing another one so soon after SummerSlam. I heard that they were going to do another one at Hell in a Cell. So they're doing a Night of Champions pick'em, and this is where you guys get to win money. Cash money for using your knowledge of the WWE product, man. Guess the winners of the pay-per-view, and you can win cash prizes and any choice of a t-shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com. So what you got to do, WrestleRumble.com, enter the raffle, give your information, and put your knowledge to the test, man. Guess the winners of Night of Champions. And if you win the cash money and the first place prize, you get cash money, and you can go on and say, listen, I want an Off The Script t-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com, man. That's WrestleRumble.com. Go and show those guys some support because they are big supporters of Off The Script. Thank you guys very much. Getting into the news, let's talk about, again, never seems to fail that Hulk Hogan's name is in the news once again this week. And I don't blame WWE for the story I'm about to read to you. I probably would do the same thing if I was the head of a company. But former, and they mention the word former, WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan is a lightning rod for controversy who should seemingly be avoided at all costs these days. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE talent are being strongly advised to stay clear of the 6-time WWE champion. WWE talent, including those who are from his era and no longer wrestling but are still affiliated with the company, were told not to have any contact with Hulk Hogan. It's been talked about the double standard, where they've immortalized the Ultimate Warrior now, whitewashed his past, giving him a statue with the feeling he said things as bad, if not as worse, and his was in public as opposed to private. World Wrestling Entertainment cut all ties with the Hulkster after several racist and homophobic comments of his were released to the public. "This business has been my life," Hogan said in a recent interview with Sports Illustrated Justin Barrasso. "It's been my heartbeat. I want to be 80 years old and still connected to this business. It's all I've ever known. I dream about wrestling. I watch it over and over again. So for my whole life to be taken away from me like it never existed," Hulk Hogan never existed as a wrestler, "I just can't believe everything I worked for my whole life is gone." Hogan has been doing a series of interview appearances to try and heal any lingering wounds with WWE, although it appears the company is biding its time before considering bringing him back. Now, listen. Hulk Hogan needs to do several things here. Number one, stay off social media. Hulk Hogan, like the report said, is a lightning rod for controversy. Okay, I watched his Good Morning America interview. He went on and on and on, and he discussed how he grew up in rough neighborhoods, and all his friends while growing up used that word, and he thought it was appropriate to use because they were using it. If Hulk Hogan came out and simply said, "Listen, okay, I'm a human being. I made a mistake. We all make a mistake in our life, man. Nobody walks this earth being 100% perfect. I fucked up. I said something I shouldn't have said in private, and it leaked out to the public. I got caught. You heard me say it. I apologize, man. That is not the Hulk Hogan you people know. I apologize for my actions. I will never do it again. I will do my best, and I will work my hardest to make it up to each and every individual that I have hurt. I will make it up to Vince McMahon. I will make it up to Triple H. I will make it up to Stephanie and the entire WWE organization to get back in their good graces and, be the Hulkster once again, man. To be the Hall of Famer that you all loved and revered as a young child growing up. There are people now who I know personally who look at Hulk Hogan in a different light after what he said. If all he did was come out and say 2 or 3 minutes that he apologizes, what he did was wrong, it would have been good. Stay off social media after that. No public appearances. Do what you can to get back into the good graces, man. Do youth groups. Help the young children down in Florida where you reside. Do your shop. Do your surf shop, your bar. Do what you got to do to maintain living your life to the best you can, man. There's no need to be on social media. There's no reason to be on social media saying that you're going to be back in the WWE. There's no reason to be on social media saying that you want one more shot at the WWE and to appear at WrestleMania. WWE doesn't want anything to do with you until they know it is safe for them to kind of reconnect with you, okay? Hulk Hogan needs to be out of the limelight. Do what you got to do, brother, and live life and forget wrestling. You're retired. Live your life. Get your personal life back on the right track. You need to be in a good state of mind up here before you think about Vince McMahon and whatever the WWE is doing for WrestleMania. So WWE talent of old, in the past, and present told to stay away from Hulk Hogan. That's the report. There's really no other bigger news story besides this one this week because it is Night of Champions weekend. So I figured I would talk about that one to start off the script right here for 83, part number 2. Going on, Dolph Ziggler may need to start looking for a new side piece very soon. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE officials are strongly considering ending the current storyline involving Ziggler, Lana, Summer Rae, and Rusev. Really now? They're considering ending this shit storyline where we seen fish being involved, thrown at ringside area. We seen a dog appear out of a fucking big box as a present who was named Dog Ziggler. We seen fucking Ziggler giving Summer Rae gifts and Rusev acting like a complete pussy-whipped coward. Now they want to strongly consider ending the current storyline with Ziggler, Lana, Summer Rae, and Rusev. And on top of that, Lana broke her wrist, had surgery, and is going to be out 4 to 5 months. So what good is it? What good is it, man? It's over. Hopefully, if there is a fucking God up there shining down among us, Sunday night will be the end of this fucking feud. Not only that, but new plans would put the ravishing Russian back with Rusev, as the belief is that both Lana and the Bulgarian Brute have been weaker since separating. You could take a fucking 3-year-old child playing with a fucking plastic toy, and they would say the same fucking thing that this report has just said. I've been saying this for fucking months now. Why did you break them up? Rusev is a fucking bumbling fool. Lana, though good to look at, she's not the same. She's not the same, and she was powerful. She had control of Rusev, who is a dominating heel. Now, she's fucking floating around in jean skirts and jean jackets with her fucking hair all loose and fucking around with Dolph Ziggler. Who wants to see this garbage? Who wants to see this garbage, man? Now they think that they're both weaker since separating. Really now, who came up with this idea, WWE? After all this time, after you ruined everybody involved in this feud? I don't know. I don't know. I would love to know who is considering getting them back together now after the damage was already done. There's so much damage done that I don't know if Rusev is going to recover anytime soon this year. It may be for a while now before a final decision is made, though, as Lana is currently on the sidelines after undergoing surgery on her wrist, which I just previously mentioned. She reportedly injured that while training in the ring prior to a live event in Fairfax, Virginia. Her recovery time is set approximately 4 months, although she may return to television much earlier, as that projection works under the assumption that she'd be competing in a match. Ziggler and Rusev are scheduled to go one-on-one this Sunday at Night of Champions at the Toyota Center in Houston. Lana is not currently booked to appear at the pay-per-view. Fucking end it. I don't want to see nothing else regarding Ziggler and Rusev, and I talked about this on part 1 of Off the Script. Nobody fucking cares about this match. It shouldn't even be happening on the main show. That should be on the pre-show, and Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus the Ascension and Stardust should be moved to the main show. If I was in WWE, I would certainly make that decision. But Ziggler, Rusev, nobody fucking cares. Lana potentially could be back with Rusev sooner rather than later. Hopefully it does happen, because them as a team, much better than them separated. Okay, we've been saying that for months, and now WWE finally, after the damage was done, is starting to realize that. This is an interesting story, man. Ring of Honor, television, and World Heavyweight Champion Jay Lethal recently spoke with Scott Fishman of Channel Guide magazine to promote the upcoming Extravaganza 7 pay-per-view this Friday, which happened yesterday, September 18th. In the interview, Lethal discussed a variety of topics, including the recent rumors that WWE may be interested in signing him. Lethal will be defending both titles in the same night this Friday, and there has been speculation that WWE borrowed the idea of having Seth Rollins do the same exact thing this Sunday night at Night of Champions from Ring of Honor. I would not be surprised at all about that one. When asked about this, Lethal said, "If that is actually where WWE got the idea from, I am honored. I'm honored they saw something that was cool and said, let's do it. There would be no way I could be upset at that. It would be like when I did my Ric Flair impression if he told me he hated it. Thank God he didn't, because he saw it as me honoring him." When asked about the possibility of heading to WWE in the future, Lethal had the following to say, and I quote, "To be wanted in professional wrestling, that's all a wrestler can really ask for. Just to be wanted, it's a great feeling." So if that's true, I am honored. I haven't heard anything about that myself. Would you work for WWE? I've answered this question before. To me, the answer is still the same. When I became a fan, it was because I watched the WWF as a fan growing up. It helped create this love growing up that I have for professional wrestling. That goes for not only the wrestlers, but us as fans as well. Okay, me doing this for you guys each and every week. You know, us watching WWE and WWF as a youngster, as a fan growing up, is the reason why we have that love for professional wrestling. Just as much today as we did back then. Much like everyone from my era. All the guys I've wrestled today, to say it wouldn't be cool to work with or for the company that helped create my love for professional wrestling, I would say that I was lying. So if given the chance and if the timing was right, sure, I would definitely work for or with them. I got to say, by the same token, I'm on cloud 9 right now. I'm the undisputed champion of a company that's known around the world, not for its storylines, music, or entrance. I'm the world champion of a company known around the world for its wrestling. What an honor to get to say that. Lethal has also been recently interviewed by Sports Illustrated, saying that he would love to have a match against Seth Rollins one day. Lethal in WWE, two things to say about this. He would make an immediate impact not only on NXT, but the WWE main roster. I could see Jay Lethal as a WWE champion. And number 3, I would love to have Jay Lethal in the WWE, period. Will I think it'll happen eventually sometime in the near future? Yes, I think Jay Lethal will be headed to WWE after everything that he's accomplished with Ring of Honor is done. Okay, not right now, not anytime soon, but I could definitely see Jay Lethal in the WWE. And a lot of alumni from Ring of Honor have gone on to bigger and better things in WWE. Just take a look at what Seth Rollins is doing right now. He's on top of the fucking wrestling world right now, and he started in Ring of Honor. After a successful show in Brooklyn last month with NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, World Wrestling Entertainment continues on with their next series of big events for the brand on October 7th at Full Sail University, yet with another NXT TakeOver program that will air exclusively on the WWE Network. WWE COO Triple H took to social media this week on Tuesday to let the WWE Universe know that the name of the show will be NXT TakeOver Respect. And that will be headlined by NXT Women's Champion Bayley defending her title one-on-one against Team Bad member Sasha Banks. Not only will this be the first time in company history that an all-female bout closes a major event, but it will also be a 30-minute Iron Man match. The competitor with the most decisions at the end of 30 minutes will walk away with the gold. Also booked for the show are the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, Baron Corbin and Rhino, along with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Have advanced to the semifinals of the tournament. Baron Corbin and Rhino will also face the winner of the Hype Bros versus Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, while Joe and Balor will square off against the winner of the Vaudevillains versus the Mechanics, man. I like that name, NXT TakeOver. Going to be a can't-miss show. I love the fact that the Iron Man match is going to be literally one match that WWE fans cannot wait to see. Probably more hyped about that match than anything on the Night of Champions card. You know, with all due respect to both female competitors in that match, Bayley and Sasha Banks. I love the name Respect. I don't think that the NXT Championship needs to be on the line here. Let the women shine. Balor can skip an event, and then he can go on to defend the title against Samoa Joe. Seems like Samoa Joe would be the perfect opponent next for Finn Balor. I think Joe and Balor will win the Tag Team Invitational Dusty Rhodes Finals. I'd initially said Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. I think they're a great fucking tag team. I don't think the Hype Bros are going to win it. I don't see anything with Corbin and Rhino. I only see Chad Gable and Jason Jordan or Joe and Balor. Vaudevillains are the tag team champions. They don't need it. The Mechanics, you know, could be a possibility, but I just see the two big names in this remaining bracket out of all these names remaining. I see Joe and I see Balor winning the Tag Team Invitational for Dusty Rhodes. But like I said, Balor doesn't need to defend the title on the show. If you got Bayley and Sasha Banks going in a 30-minute Iron Man match, let the women shine in the main event. That's going to be an unbelievable show regardless. So the NXT title doesn't need to be in the spotlight. Save it for the one in December. Joe and Balor, look forward to it. It's going to be great. Joe was the perfect opponent for Finn Balor coming up, being that this month it's going to be all about the women in NXT. There's another story going around about NXT. There was an NXT meeting earlier this month on September 3rd about talent pay. Basically, as first reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter several weeks ago, talent doesn't get paid a percentage of the house shows. Keep in mind that they did a $200,000 gate on the show in San Jose during WrestleMania weekend. The big question was whether they should get a percentage of the gate for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn for the show last month, since the show did a huge gate. Canyon Seaman, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Canyon Seaman told talent that they wouldn't be paid from the gate of that show, and they wouldn't be paid extra for the upcoming UK tour in December, because overall NXT is still losing money and NXT talent is still getting their paid guarantees, even with NXT being a money loser. Also, unlike the main roster, the NXT talent does have their road expenses covered by WWE. Unbelievable right there. So why would you want to leave NXT to begin with to go to the main roster if you have your expenses covered by WWE when they're on the road for NXT shows and when they are on the road for WWE main house shows? They do get paid extra when they work WWE main house shows. Talent also gets road expenses covered during their first 90 days when they are moved up to the main roster. No full-time NXT talent like Samoa Joe or Rhino work on a per-event guarantee. For some of the talent, figured that NXT would be becoming an alternative touring brand, and it is now, and that they would be paid accordingly, or at least at the bigger shows. So basically, it's a third brand as far as public perception goes, but it's looked as a developmental as far as talent goes. Listen, man, it's, you give some, you lose some. You know, the fact that NXT talent has their expenses covered by WWE when they're on the road, that makes up for what they're not being paid, man. I really can't complain about that. You know, when you're on the main roster, you got to pay for your hotel, you got to pay for your fucking flight, etc., etc. If you're in NXT, WWE is covering your road expenses, man. That's where the rest of the money that they think that they should be making is going. So you really can't complain about that, and that's all I'm going to say, man. If I was someone in NXT and I was making a downside guarantee and I was getting paid a certain amount of money, and I was looking at, listen, why am I not being paid royalties from, you know, these events that we're doing? Why am I not getting a bonus, a talent bonus, etc., etc.? You got to take into consideration, man, if WWE is touring with NXT now, no matter how many house shows that they do, no matter how much touring that they do, their road expenses are covered. So I would not be complaining as much about, you know, bonuses here and there. Just live it up, man. Just live it up. Enjoy what you're doing. NXT is the hottest thing going right now, and everybody in NXT is making a fucking name for themselves, because that's what everybody wants to see is NXT. So I wouldn't look at this as a bad thing. Your road expenses are covered. That's a great deal for me, man. I wish my job would do that. If I had to drive somewhere, if I had to go for a business meeting with a company, etc., etc. I wish my company would do that, but they don't. So, you know, you got to look at it like that. You give some and you lose some, man. So I would not be complaining about that if I was an NXT talent. And finally, guys, to end this week's part 2 of number 83, congratulations to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. U.S. Weekly is reporting that Dwayne Johnson and longtime girlfriend Lauren Hashian are expecting their first child together. This would be Johnson's second, as he currently has a 14-year-old daughter with ex-wife Dany Garcia. Johnson said the following about Hashian in a recent interview with Esquire magazine: "We do these stories and we talk so much about the business end, the success end, but then Lauren isn't mentioned and my daughter Simone isn't mentioned. I always like making sure we find the balance, and my home life is in there with Lauren Hashian in there, and my daughter is in there. You got to get better. You got to get the better half in there. With all the cool shit and success that I've been lucky enough to get, that doesn't happen unless the home life is solid." So congratulations to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I know his name is being thrown around a lot in the rumor mill for being the third man in that Wyatt family Shield matchup, teaming with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. We will see at Night of Champions, man. I don't think it's going to be The Rock. But I do think we're going to be highly disappointed with what WWE has set up for us at Night of Champions. That is all the news, guys, that I got for part 2. That's pretty much all the news I got for the rest of the week. So what we're going to be doing on part 3, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to give you guys a part 3. I am going to give you guys number 83 leading into Night of Champions and the review that we're all going to be a part of at the end of the show right here on my channel. So I'm going to cover one big WWE 2K16 story tomorrow as the top story, and then we're going to do a question and answer again. I'm going to try and implement the question and answer in every part 3 of Off the Script every weekend, okay? So if you guys got anything you want to ask me, wrestling related only, and I want you guys to be well thought out, I want you guys to be interactive with your questions, I want you to be smart about your questions. I will not be answering any troll questions. I want you guys to be serious about it because I want it to fill a nice part of the show before we get into Night of Champions. So if you guys want to leave me a question, you can leave your comment about the video down below, and you can also include a question that you want me to answer on tomorrow's show. You could also ask me questions on Twitter at JD from NY. Use the hashtag OTS83. Okay, that's hashtag OTS for Off the Script 83. Okay, it's going to be a Q&A. You can ask me anything wrestling related. I want you guys to be smart with your questions. You can leave them on Twitter, and you can leave them down in the comments section of this video, and we'll have a good time, and we'll be fan interactive for part 3 of Off the Script, being that there is no news this weekend with the pay-per-view coming up, all right? So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Leave me a comment about what you guys think about the top stories for part 2. Please check out my sponsors, man. WrestleRumble.com, WrestleCrate.com. I got an unboxing coming soon for, what is it, September 2000. I'm losing fucking track of my months over here. September 2015. The guys over at Chairshot Reality, Justin LeBar, Josh Eisenberg, and Brian Ghoulish. Chairshot Reality at WrestleZone.com. And go and buy a fucking t-shirt, man. If you don't want to buy a t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com, you guys can always donate to my PayPal account and donate to the show. Link is provided down below in the description, all right? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, ask me anything down in the comments and on Twitter at JD from NY206, and I will see you guys right back here for Off the Script Part 3 for your Night of Champions weekend. This is JD. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on Sunday morning.